it's my distinct pleasure to invite the CEO of Startup Nation Central. He's the former chief scientist of Israel, the founder of the Innovation Authority, Mr. Avi Hasson, to give us a state of the ecosystem briefing, which will set the stage for the rest of the content to come. Avi, please.
Thank you very much, Ilana. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. It's always good to be back in Tel Aviv University. This place is special for me, and I'm very excited about not just the turnout that we had yesterday and today, but about speaking about this subject, which I truly believe is crucial for Israel's present and future. So let me start by saying what I think we all acknowledge is how much innovation is critical to Israel's economy and security in so many aspects. You see some of the economic parameters lined right up here. So 20% of Israel's GDP, is high tech. That's compared to about 6% in the EU, less than 10% in the US. This is our business plan. This is the reason Israel has been managing, for example, to withstand the difficulties and hardship that the war brought with us, from the $100 billion in direct cost to the rise in debt, to everything that we need to cover. The balance sheet of the Bank of Israel is thankful to what the Israel high-tech companies have been providing us. 30% of the income taxes paid in Israel come from high-tech. This is basically our business plan as the country, half of our export. And innovation has been obviously also driving directly security itself. Israel's defense has always been built on technology. Some criticism had been posed about that, and obviously there has to be a balance between technology and other parameters, but I would claim that even in the future, because of many reasons that we don't have the time to dwell about, innovation will continue to be not just our secret weapon, but actually the source of our strength. And as such, remembering that, combining the two ecosystems makes a lot of sense. Now, ecosystem is an important word. We'll hear a lot about the stories of founders and investors, and obviously there are the drivers. But without having a well-functioning ecosystem, with a critical mass of all the discrete components, but also interconnection between all of them, there is no ability to talk about this economic and social impact. And we do have that. We have that for many, many years. From a very relevant government, Mafat, innovation authorities, and other components that have been mentioned, to academic research institutions that will keep driving, and a lot of the future innovation will start at a lab, many times in this university or other places, to incubators, accelerators, venture capital investors, and everything that is needed to make that journey and make sure that we both found the relevant solution in the hands of the user, but also commercialize and maximize the economic impact coming out of that. This ecosystem has had not an easy time in the past, year and a half or so, obviously, needing to cope with many, many things. Ilana, you mentioned some of the foreign visitors that have joined us today, and again, we're appreciative for you coming here, but obviously, with all the difficulties that the ecosystem had to deal with, it was not easy. It was as if the ecosystem had to carry a 200-pound weight over its shoulders, and it's not a 100-meter dash. It's been a marathon. But when we look into the output of this ecosystem, and we've seen what it has achieved, it's quite remarkable to watch it in action. Looking at the numbers, and we're soon to sum up 2024, it's remarkable to see that Israeli companies have managed to raise over $10 billion from venture investment. It's amazing to see that we had over $12 billion of M&A, representing the trust of the leading companies in the world, in many, many sectors. And yes, cybersecurity is leading the pack, that's true, but it wasn't limited to that sector. And we see the best investors in the world, some of them sitting with us today, and the best companies in the world doubling down on Israel, realizing that actually, in a world that unfortunately is not going to be without hardship, in a world where we're having a crisis almost as a routine, geopolitical, pandemics, economic downturns, the ability of the Israeli founders, the ability of the Israeli ecosystem to find those solutions, to find the way to persevere, And it's not just about the startups. If we look on the output of the scale-up companies, which rely more on revenues, we really see its ability to deliver, no matter what, to continue driving that force and making sure actually that Israel remains an attractive leading hub of innovation, not ignoring the difficulties that we have to face with, but understanding that through our culture and our ecosystem assets, a lot can be done to that. So within Startup Nation Central, we have continued doing during those months what we do all day long. It was really heartwarming to see so many people from the private sector jumping into action, sometimes leaving their day job and really turning to help the ecosystem, the country, the society, the community. At Startup Nation Central as an NGO, that's actually our day job. So that's what we've been doing for over a decade right now. And this year, we've continued doing that, maximizing the global positioning of Israel as a leading innovation hub, which needs to be maintained. It's not an easy task. Generating that access, those business engagement, many times going on the road. People didn't come to Israel. So we had to go taking the companies with us, taking investors with us, really to send out this message. And through maps like Ilana has showed you and our Finder platform, we've created assets for people to both online in a digital way, as well as have whatever they need in order to carry the message through. Now, I want in the 1 minute that I have just talk about defense and really tell you where we are today, because at Startup Nation Central, we are very much excited about this opportunity. And I think a lot has changed. And we're all used to think, I'm sure this audience knows a lot about many military or technologies that found their way into the commercial use, right? GPS is a notable example. But trust me, within your iPhone, there are a lot of technologies that started as military technologies and found their way into commercial. The potential lies exactly in doing the opposite, as Itzik has talked about. So in a similar way to what we've seen in the enterprise, where the users, very used to working with their iPhone or technologies at home, came to their IT department and said, we want to have the best cutting-edge technologies, and you have to find a way to integrate that. We're seeing the same thing happening in the battlefield. And the global trends that we're seeing that are listed here and will be discussed over this day, so I will not touch each and every one of them, really make this opportunity very, very exciting. Having the validation of, again, some of the best investors in Israel and in the world stepping into this field, and again, I was also a venture capitalist in my past. This was a totally different ecosystem. Defense, big contractors, government procurement, not suitable for a venture investment. And yet when we look into what's happening today, both from a technology perspective with software and AI leading the pack, and also from the desire of the same government program to diversify their supplier base, the opportunity is immense. Which is why, combined with our national needs, I am certain that we will see a post-war baby boom, startup boom. Also baby boom, by the way. I don't know if you've visited Israeli hospitals. Truly, it's amazing to see. Heartwarming and optimistic in a sense. But we're going to see a startup boom with innovation coming out of the war, sometimes tested in the war, sometimes applied in totally different fields, from agri-tech to health, but taking into advantage some of the underlying technologies that Israel is really can offer a lot, maximizing at the end of the day our biggest asset, which is the talent density. The talent is our most important point, and I just want to finish with that, because at the end of the day, the human capital is Israel's secret weapon. So we must make sure that that weapon remains to us with the decades to come. And I've seen, in a concerned way actually, data regarding the education. This is something that we must take care of, from the schools to the universities, to the academic labs, to the entrepreneurs. As long as we have that talent, as long as we have that human capital, with its culture, with its vision, with its mission, the ecosystem will play its role. And with that, I will clear the stage, not before saying we truly live in historic days, really. It's hard to overestimate what we're experiencing in the Middle East right now. It creates a lot of challenges, but immense, immense opportunities, from regional collaboration to economic prosperity to all sides. But within all these historic days, I just want to finish with one point. I think it's our utmost duty as a community, society, and country to make the most possible to ensure the safe return of our hostages and kidnapped to Israel. I think this is step one in thinking about the future, and hopefully in the same way that we've achieved a ceasefire in the north, we will do the same in the south, and then continue doing all this important work to ensure the security of our country in the years to come. Thank you very much. Have a great conference.